Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is a little bit after 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Chicago. It's time for a live stream, and sorry I'm running a little bit late today. Two things happened. One was technical difficulties. Sometimes I get this thing started up and it just doesn't recognize my microphone, so I don't know. I just had to kind of restart and try again, and then it worked. And the other thing was I just got an email from the feed, not me personally, but I'm like on the mailing list. And someone had mentioned the other day that Morton, that company that makes the gels, is releasing a product like chews. So I was like, oh, maybe that's what this email must be about. But instead, it was for bars, and I couldn't find the chews anywhere. But I did find bars, and there's two kinds of bars, like bars that you eat. So I ordered some of those. So hopefully we'll get those sometime soon and have them for a mukbang coming up. So that's why I was running a little bit late today, guys. Also, I just got back in from my long run a little while ago and took a shower. And so everything's running a little bit late, but I'm here now. Thanks, everybody, for your patience. Everyone listening in on the podcast, on the audio-only version. Hopefully you guys are out there having a good run or having a nice and safe commute. Maybe you're listening to this in the car as you're driving somewhere for Memorial Day weekend. Today is the Friday before a holiday. So, I mean, I'm actually hoping that a lot of you guys who normally watch during work hours, maybe if you're not here today, that's okay. Because that means maybe you're heading out with your family, getting an early start on the traffic, and going somewhere nice and pleasant to spend time with family and friends. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat today. We got PG19A says, happy Friday. How's your week been? Well, I mean, the week's been quite a week, you know? I mean, a lot's happened this week. So all things considered, you know, I'm hanging in. Hopefully you're doing well too, or at least hanging in there too, PG. Duke BB22 says, good afternoon, everyone. And it says, hi, Kofuzi and everybody. I'm Half Pedro's here as well. Says, hey, good Friday, everyone. Vincent Veneris is here. Says, yo. Tony Macia says, happy Friday, everyone. Luis Becerra says, we'll do a couple more. You know what's going on, TJF. JC says, Friday at the Kofuzi Run Club. And Ray says, hi, Ko, and hello, gang. What's going on, Sarge? Hopefully everyone's doing well. Oh, and I forgot to say hi to everyone listening in on the YouTube. Not live, but after the fact. Welcome to you guys as well. I'm guessing if you guys are watching this later after the fact, you already did your driving for the long weekend, and now you're trying to get to bed, got this on in the background, and then you'll start your weekend bright and early tomorrow morning. So welcome to you guys too. All right, so today we're going to be heading out to go to Iowa. I haven't even packed yet, so we might have to end the live stream a little bit early so I should just make sure I get ready to head out to Iowa. I don't really need to pack a lot because, you know, I just throw a bunch of clothes and some shoes in a bag. We usually do a lot of laundry while we're there. And we're going to Iowa. We're not going on like a big, you know, vacation or anything. Not that it's not vacation like when I go, but, you know, it's not like I'm going to Malaga, Spain, where like, you know, getting stuff would be hard. So like if I forget something, you know, there's a Walmart that's not far by. So it's only makes it really, really easy. But still just takes a little bit of time. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll up a little bit, see what's going on. Oh, Tony says he just had one of the new Martin bars, the chocolate version. Yeah, there's two flavors, cocoa and regular. I can't remember what they called the other one. But Tony had the chocolate version. He says, it's really tasty, like a sweet honey flavoring, and texture's more like a Rice Krispie treat. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like the Scratch bars. Don't know how these would be during during intensity, though. I mean, yeah, I feel like it's an interesting choice that they went with a granola bar, because like I feel like they've got like the stuff in the bottles, they got stuff in the gel packs. I think Chews would have been a good choice. I think like a Post drink would have also been a really good choice for them, because you've got like the 320 or the 160 mix for before and during. And then you got the gels for during. What do you got for after? So I feel like that after part is missing. But I guess if you got bars, then you got like people snacking on it all day. You know, maybe you end up selling more bars than any of those products combined. But it just feels like it's very different. So yeah, and don't know how that would be during intense. I don't think it's supposed to be like. I don't think you're supposed to eat it like you would eat a gel. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You know what? You know what I think? I'm gonna text Oh, I don't have his phone number, but I will message Ben Johnson afterwards because he has those District Vision pants, the shorts that have like the holster around the back for the 6 gels that you're supposed to bring during the marathon. I'm gonna see if Ben will buy 6 of the bars and just fill his shorts with bars. I just think that would be so funny, to see someone show up to a race just with granola bars in the back, in their shorts. That would just be hilarious. And it makes me think that like, aren't those gonna get smushed? Because like I think that some people do eat them during because maybe they don't like gels. But it reminds me of like Stroop waffles. Like I don't understand how Stroop waffles became like the only thing that would be more inconvenient than a Stroop waffle from an endurance sport perspective would be like a scone or something that's really brittle that would just like peanut brittle or something like that just falls apart, you know? So it's just really funny when I think about some of the food that people eat. Some things catch on and some things don't, and there's really very little sense to it sometimes. But it's really funny. But that's cool. I'm glad you had a chance to test it out. Wilfredo Chupacabra Aguirre says, "What's up, cousin Ko and que pasa, everyone? What's going on, my brother? How are ya?" Stevie76 says, "Bought the John G half tight. Inside tag says, save water, wash only when needed." I think I need to wash it after every run. That's kind of how I feel about a lot of the like half tights pants. And in the summer stuff, I can't make it very long. I mean, I can't think of a time where I've taken a summer pant and run with it more than once. I guess though, a half tight I could probably wear in spring or the fall. So maybe in those situations, if I'm taking it out for an easy run, I might not need to. But if I'm reaching for that particular half tight, it's probably a workout. Because it's like, well, I need the storage for all my gels. But maybe if I took it on a trip, and maybe a lot of the runs are easy, but I only have brought like the one pair of running shorts, maybe. I think the same tag is also inside the shirts, and I think that's kind of where it comes from. It comes from the shirts, but I think that's funny that they put it in the pants too. JC says it's fuzzy picture. It looks fine to me on this side, and I'm not seeing any internet issues, so hopefully that resolves. Maybe. Adam says, Scratch has the chews and the bars. Oh, okay. Scratch has chews and bars as a product, but not gels. They say their chews decrease GI issues with gels. That's right. Scratch does not have gels. That's interesting. They should have gels. I would buy Scratch gels. I would definitely try that. I like Scratch products. I feel like they're all very straightforward. They're not messing around. It's not gimmicky. I just really like it. Ken says, Mike, have you ever have you switched from Polar to Garmin, and which do you prefer? I bought the 945 LTE. I tested that one, and I didn't love it. It was an expensive watch. I don't know. I think that it's hard for me to review watches, that's for sure. There's just so much. I have a hard time focusing. Even I tried to keep a very condensed for today's video with the Polar, and look, I switched the band out, the Polar Pacer Pro. The other thing that's hard about it is a lot of it is I'm very accustomed to the Polar user interface. And when even like a little thing is missing or different, it really throws me off and I have a very hard time with it. I think because you spend so much time like touching things by feel, and there's a lot of muscle memory. So I just feel like I have a hard time with that. That being said, like Garmin and Chorus are very similar to me. I think there's a reason for that, but like both of the user interfaces are very similar, and I don't love them. People give the Polar interface a really hard time, but I'm like, compared to Garmin, I feel like it's much easier to navigate. Maybe I'm just used to it. So, yeah, I'm not sure. The one thing that I seem to be noticing, I use the Stride Foot Pod with both the Garmin and the Polar, and it seems like, this is my anecdotal kind of like gut reaction to using the 945, which I ran the LA Marathon with the 945. It feels like the Garmin is a little bit stingy when it comes to paces. Like I feel like I'm going faster than it says I am, and I feel like Polar is a little bit generous, and I feel like I'm not going as fast as it says I am. Just a hair. I mean, I have no idea what that means really, but like I don't. I have no. I guess there's ways to test that for sure, but there's sometimes I just feel like neither of these is giving me the exact right answer. But I'm very used to Polar, and I like the Polar. Um, I don't know. I feel like the best answer would be like if Apple Watch could make a better watch, a better like sports watch, then that's all I would need. But now I just run with two watches. I run with an Apple Watch and another watch. So, but my preference is going to be right now is with Polar. I think that Koros makes choosing Garmin a lot harder for runners because Koros provides such a good value. But um, I I think that both Koros and Garmin feel very like I mentioned in the video today that there's something about watches where it's not completely utilitarian, where it's like shoes, you're like make it as light as possible, make it make the foams perform really well. There isn't a huge market for like make me a really great running shoe, but also I want it to be a little bit ostentatious. Watches have that, and a lot of times I think it's ridiculous. But when I think about Garmin and Koros, and this maybe a lot of my bias coming into it because I've been running with Polar for a long time. I just feel like the Koros and the Garmin feel not as nice to me. And yeah, I just feel like the Koros like gives you the data. It doesn't always give me it doesn't. I don't feel like it gives me all the analytics that I want. I just can't. I feel like it's hard for me to see it, and then, or that might just be color preferences or whatever. But I also feel like just the overall experience with it feels a little bit less polished. And then Garmin is nicer, but like Garmin is like just kitchen sink. It's been around for so long that like I don't feel like Garmin ever takes a feature away. They only just add more and more. And I'm just like, there's just so much here I don't want. So I think that's like my general take on a lot of both of those. To just put it very broadly. Not that Polar is perfect. I would love to be able to put away an external heart rate monitor, but I haven't found a brand that can let me do that. All right. Jeff says, I just got my first John G shorts. Holy pockets. They have more pockets than a clown car has clowns. I love them. I feel like pockets are so underrated. I remember when I first started reviewing like running clothes, there were not pockets. A lot has changed in the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm very excited for it. Definitely works. All right, Martha's here. She gives a nice wave with an emoji. All right, good to see you. Tommy Runs is here. Says, "What's up, Kafuzi? What's going on, Tommy? Good to see you." Keep scrolling down. Jackie Mai says, speaking of gels, do you force to take gels on schedule during a half or full marathon, even when you don't feel like taking it? Yes. The only, like, there's some times where I feel there, if I feel like if I eat a gel right now, I might have GI issues, then I won't. If I'm like, I just can't fathom eating one right now, then I won't. That happened to me during CIM. That day was, if I remember correctly, it was a little bit on the humid side. So like humidity usually does it to me, or when it's really, really hot. My body's just like, nope. Drink more water, drink more sport drink, but gels, we don't feel like it. So I get that from time to time. But like today, I had a long run today. I have a lot of travel coming up. And I just feel like having weekend long runs isn't going to be practical for me. So I did my long run today, and it was a 20-mile run, and I brought 4 gels, and I had about 12 ounces of fluid in the pack. And I just took a gel every 4 miles, just like hit 4 miles, took a gel. I don't feel like I needed it, but I feel great right now. So I think that it's, when I think about like the long run and how I want to incorporate it within a broader training schedule. I know people like to get fancy and do like glycogen depletion runs or like fasted long runs and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, the long run itself is hard enough. Maybe I do need to do a glycogen run every like once a cycle or something like that, just so I know what it feels like. But I've been racing a lot lately. Also, like I feel like eating the gels on schedule during a long run helps me feel like it's like I'm starting my recovery in the run. And then for a full marathon, for sure, because like I feel like if you don't eat your gels on schedule, barring like, you feel like you're going to vomit if you eat one, barring that, I feel like if you don't, it's very easy for like the race to sneak up on you. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh man, I feel like so there's times where I haven't done that. And then I'm like, well, I got to eat the gel. I'm starving. I eat the gel and I'm like, I need another gel right now. How long has it been? And you'll look down at your watch. I'm like, oh, quarter mile. So then you're like, oh, I want to eat another gel now, but I have to space them out. So like, I just feel like racing goes from like topped up to boom, I got nothing in the tank. And so I feel like just stay at the topped up. Don't try to get cute in the middle. Just stay topped up. That's how I feel about it. I mentioned it in my after the cherry blossom. I think it was cherry blossom run. I'm like, it's not a starvation contest. It's not a glycogen depletion contest. Like I'm very happy to finish a race with 2 extra gels. So I bring a lot, and I eat mine on schedule. So whatever. I just feel like if you're not sure, take it. I don't think it's horrible if you don't eat it on schedule, but I generally try to. That was a long answer. Hopefully that helps. My mom's here. My mom's coming in from New Jersey. How are you, Mom? Hope you're doing well today. Adam says, the biggest criticism on Polar is the bezel limiting viewable space. That's true. There's a lot of watch and not a lot of screen. But like, they don't have the prettiest screens, I will say that. But like, the only screens that I really like stand out to me as being very pretty, like, are like Apple Watch. Like Garmin, Coros, Polar, they're all like kind of equally running watch pretty. The only ones that I don't like are Sunto. Sunto, I don't know if I'm getting older, but I can't see it. It's not bright enough. I don't know if that's changed. Someone was I ran with someone. I think did I run with someone at the run club in Brooklyn? Someone was telling me that the latest Sunto, like a Sunto 5 or something like that, or 7. I don't even remember what number. It wasn't a 9. And they were like, "Man, I would love that watch." And I'm like, "You do? Tell me more." And so I was like, I've never met anyone that likes any of the new Suntos. I didn't even know they were still around. But yeah. Oh, this is great information. Natalia Jicholowska, sorry if I said that wrong, says, if anyone's interested, Saucony's having a pretty good sale. Endorphin Pro 2 for $120. That's an amazing price, guys. I feel like that's a great pickup right now, especially now, it's almost June. Pick up a pair of those. That becomes your workout shoe. You could still get your race shoe for your fall marathon, but pick that up now when you're doing your mile repeats. That's the shoe to reach for. That's a good one. That's an amazing deal. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that. Ina says, I don't think you should move back to New Jersey, Mike. All that food in one weekend, you'd be the size of a truck in no time. That's funny. I mean, the thing is, if I moved back there, I wouldn't eat all that food in a weekend. That would probably be like, going out and eating that kind of variety of food would probably take like a month. Like I wouldn't go out to get bagels every day. But I do that when I go back home and I eat 2 bagels every day for breakfast. I eat a bagel sandwich and then a regular bagel with cream cheese. And that's not a normal breakfast, but, when in Rome, gorge like the Romans did. So, yeah. But, there's lots of good food there. And still, though, like you're there and it's like, oh, there's so much I didn't eat. I didn't eat any pizza over the weekend, So that's something that I always wish I could eat more of. And I didn't even film half the food I ate. I had a lot of other food. A lot of food. A lot of good noodles. Really good noodles all weekend long. But so next time we'll get some more footage in there. I think next week I'll be posting a video about my schedule kind of like for the rest of the week. And so the video from New Jersey, New York was kind of an experiment, and I think that's what I'm kind of go with for all these trips that I have coming up. So I've got a bunch of trips, a lot of them with ASICs, some of them not with ASICs, and I'm gonna make a video about that coming up on some point next week. And so you guys will get to see a lot more of those, hopefully, unless I decide to change the format. But I think it's gonna be like that: a lot of running, a lot of adventures, a lot of eating, that kind of thing. So that's coming up. So there'll be a lot more eating videos coming up. So we'll see all about that. Terry Furlong wants to know, does the native power on the Polar report the same number of power as the Stride pod? It does not. Here's the thing. So my testing, I tested this a while ago. I think it was for the first Vantage, or maybe it was the first watch from Polar that had the wrist power. And when I look at it, the numbers are different, but by a constant. So if you see the tracings, it's like exactly the same, or very, very close. Close enough that, like, if I didn't like some of the other features of the Stride Foot Pod, I wouldn't really need the Stride Foot Pod. So but for me, I run in an urban area, and so GPS pace and distance isn't always that reliable. So I really like getting pace and distance from the Foot Pod. And I also like kind of like the critical power number calculator and the race calculator, that kind of stuff from Stride. So there's other reasons why I still use the Stride Foot Pod, even though I get power from the wrist. But the number seems to be just off by constant. I feel like if Polar wanted to, they could just convert the number by like subtracting like 50 or something like that. Or I'm sure there's some sort of algorithm. It probably has something to do with weight, or with probably more accurately, probably has something to do with, I'm sure you could probably create a table that correlated someone's power per, like, watts per kilogram, and like their pace at, like how fast they are as a runner. Yeah. And then what their velocity is, and then make an adjustment to the power number, because it always seems to be off by a constant. Coros has worked more closely with Stride. I think that they worked closely with Stride to develop their power from the wrist, and Coros's number will be pretty much exactly the same as what you would get from a Stride Foot Pod. But when you run Coros's data through the DC Rainmaker analyzer tool, you could see that all they've done is they do this, their number, you get the raw number when you look at the DC Rainmaker analyzer tool. So if I run with Polar with wrist-based power, Coros, and a Stride Foot Pod on like a third watch, I would see 3 different graphs that all look identical. But at some point, Coros does the math and makes it so that the numbers look very similar to what you would get from a Stride Foot Pod. My suspicion is that the reason why Polar doesn't change their numbers to match Stride's is so that way, I'm guessing, because Garmin also makes pedal power meters for bikes, they're probably trying to correlate, like, what does an easy run power number for someone's given like weight match to like that same hypothetical person's easy ride, is my suspicion. I'm not sure. That's just a pure guess, but otherwise, why? I mean, it just goes to show that like running power, they label it in watts, but it's really kind of like unitless. I think it feels just like a number to me, like a scaleless number, kind of. But that's my understanding on power. That's pretty much everything I know about power. Adam says, do you ever run without looking at the watch or put black tape over it, only looking at the data after? I've never done that. I'm pretty good at tunnel visioning my when I look at the watch. So like my data fields when I run, heart rate's at the top or power, depending on which screen I'm on. Um, Distance is on the left, pace is on the right, total duration is on the bottom. And if I'm in a rep and I'm just trying to look at how much distance I've run, like I can look at that watch and see just the distance number and ignore, like my brain ignores the rest of them, which is what I normally try to do. And so like, if I'm trying not to look at it, I'm pretty good at not looking at it, even if I'm looking at the watch. So yeah, so I don't know. Myopia is a good skill to have, I guess, or useful in that situation. All right, let me scroll down because I'm really far behind you guys. Seatown fan says best Saucony with a little support and lightweight. I think that might be. I think it's gonna be the Kinvara. That'll be my number. Yeah, Adam says regarding power, the absolute number doesn't matter. It's like VO2 max. It's a relative change that does. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Let's see. And Randon Lewis says he's getting Mach 4s coming tomorrow. Can't wait. Nice. Awesome. Hope you enjoy. Jackie also seconds my vote for the Kinvara 12 for a Saucony with light support, little support, and lightweight. Yeah. Luis says Memorial Day specials are coming in several stores. Need to keep an eye on everything. Awesome. Because Jackie says Saucony website is just 40% off across. Ooh, nice. Nice. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Super Unjit says running watches can't be pretty if you want a decent battery life, at least for now. Yeah, I think basically, like it's funny because like some of the watches, I think Polar included, it's just like there's a lot of like these screens that you get into for customizing, and it's like, do you want the accent color to be yellow or blue or red? And I'm like, I always set it to yellow because the blue or red or the other accent colors all look just like kind of dim to me, and because I'm a little bit colorblind, like they all kind of look similar. They're just dull. And so like the yellow is the only one that really stands out. Sometimes I could see if there's orange as an accent color option. They're not that great. And like, frankly, I don't need it to be. I've got a nice phone in my pocket for when I want to look at something pretty. And when I'm running, I just need to be able to see the numbers. I don't need the numbers to look all that pretty. That being said, like I'm not going to buy the Garmin Epics, but if like Garmin was like, hey, we would love you to test out the Epics, I would very happily do so. But to date, I don't think Garmin's ever sent me any emails. They don't reach out to me. So, Lou says that Sunto is big in the tri community. It is? Really? I wonder if it's like really good at swimming. Cause like with Sunto, like with Garmin and Coros, no, I don't know about, I know not Coros. With Garmin and like Wahoo, there's a lot of like pass off to the bike computer, right? So I feel like that makes sense that those are popular there. But like, does the Sunto have good swimming? Maybe. I feel like the Polar swimming was not that great, but also my swimming is not that great. So it's like, it was probably like, this person is not swimming like a normal person. What is happening? That's probably what it was. Jackie says the chat is pretty quiet because everyone flocked over to the Saucony website. Go for it, guys. I'm not offended. All right, we got a couple questions here, and it says, "Any word on you getting Mach 5s, Mike?" I was thinking about that today because I was listening to Believe in the Run podcast as usual, and they interviewed Jean-Luc, one of the founders of Hoka. And so that just had me thinking about Hoka. And I was like, no one sent me the Supersonic. And no one has contacted me about the Mach 5s. Like, what's going on over there? So I was like, I got to email somebody. So I'm going to reach out and get that sorted out. I also, because I was thinking, because I'm going to be running in the Speed Goats this weekend. And so I've just been thinking a lot about Hoka already this weekend. And I was like, I gotta order another pair of the Tecton X. Because I don't like the size of it. I don't like the 9.5. I think it's just too big. So I got to get the smaller one, a size 9. I'm Half Pager says, can you compare the Nova Blast to the 1080 or 880? Yeah, I think that well, I'm working on it now. The next video that's coming out is the Puma Velocity Nitro 2 versus the New Balance 880 version 12. And I'm setting it up as like a workhorse battle. And I kind of end the video just to spoil it for everybody. That I don't know that the 880 is a workhorse anymore. I think it's like a flagship daily trainer. I just think I think it's so good. It's just, I really enjoy the 880. I think that the 880, so I think like here's one way to look at it. I think that the Velocity Nitro 2 stacks up really well with last year's 880. This year's 880 stacks up really nicely with last year's Nova Blast, or the Nova Blast 2. Compared to the Nova Blast 3 is way better. And yes, I'm probably very, very biased on that because I've been working a lot with ASICs. But that shoe, I mean, I think that Nova Blast 3 is going to be shoe of the year. I mean, it's just so good. It's just it's really good. FF Blast Plus full stack FF Blast Plus is really, really quite amazing. I really enjoy it. People are gonna love standing around in it. I mean, standing around in it. I mean, casual use. People are gonna really love running in it. Short workouts, long runs. Like, it's gonna be able to do everything. So like that's gonna be probably shoe of the year. Although I don't know. New Alpha Fly is supposed to come out this year, so we'll see. I do also really like the Metaspeed Sky Plus. You know, I was thinking about that today, or I've been thinking about the past couple of days. Did they name it the Metaspeed Sky Plus because this year there's FF Blast Plus? I mean, I don't know. That'd be, I mean, maybe that makes sense. I don't know, but the both the Nova Blast and the 880 are really bouncy shoes, which I really, really like. That's kind of, it fits very much my preference. People that like super squishy shoes aren't gonna like either of those. But if I'm comparing like the Nova Blast 2, I feel like the Nova Blast 2 dampened the squish just a little bit from Nova Blast 1, just to make it a little bit more stable. And so, but I think that brings the Nova Blast 2 very close to this year's 880. And so, the one thing that I think is very different is that the Nova Blast feels longer and the 880 feels a little bit more stable. It feels like there's a wider platform to land on. And there's just a lot more upper on the 880. So some people are going to like that. Some people aren't. I think that it's comfortable in the way that, you know, some running brands think puffiness is comfortable. So I think that's like another way to kind of like break it down. But both are surprisingly good at long runs and also running quickly. You just wouldn't expect both things to be true at the same time, but they are for both of those shoes. So, you know, all really good. The 1080, you know, yesterday I picked up the 1080 thinking I was picking up the 880, and it took me a long time to realize that I had the wrong shoe in my hand. So the 1080 and 880 are still like visually pretty close. But I like the way that they've made the new 1080, the version 12, softer again. Last year's version just felt a little bit dead. It didn't have the same level of cushiness that the 1080 version 10 had. So like the 11 was a bit of a disappointment. It just was like lackluster. This year with the, you know, no more ultra heel, the 1080 is really, really good. Still a little bit on the too puffy side. Like the 880 is, but like the design language is there. They look a little too similar, but I like it when You can look at a brand of shoes and know what brand it is, even if there weren't logos on the side, because the design language is consistent for the year. And I think they're doing a great job. I think a lot more people who love the 1080 version 10, I think are going to really enjoy the 1080 version 12. So that's it. Konos Mila says, "What's your opinion on running belts?" I love running belts. I love running belts more than I love running packs. But here's the thing. Running fast and getting water or sport drink from a bottle out of a running belt can sometimes be really hard. I use flip belts, have been the one that are my favorite. And getting the water bottle in and out of those is really hard while you're still running. If you're going to stop, like if you're taking it out for a trail run, if you're going to stop or slow down, if it's just like a regular long run, great. Because then you don't have something on your back. And in the summer, that can just adds heat, But that's like the main downfall. I just ordered it. I forget what the brand is, but it's a waist pack, like a belt that is big enough to have a very small reservoir and it has a hose that you can drink out of. I love the hoses. I love hoses. So today with my running pack, I only had 12 ounces of liquid in there. It's not a lot. It's like a 2-liter bladder, but I usually only put like less than a liter or less in there for most of my running with it, because I use it for the pockets and just to hold a little bit of fluid. I don't need a ton. Not for the way that I run. So, yeah, I love running belts. They just I tested like during the pandemic, I tested like 7 or 8 different ones. I ended up not liking any of them. The one that I didn't test is the one that you guys seem to enjoy, and that seems to be a favorite among the ultra running pros. Is the Naked belt. I really did test the name. I just think it's a silly name. And the branding I don't like either. But it seems to be really popular. Walmsley uses it as amongst many others. So maybe I need to try that one this summer once it starts to get real hot. All right. Cassie Brockett says, "Hey, Co, moving to the burbs of Chicago in 2 weeks. Just closed on our new house in Lisle. Oh, nice. Stoked to have new running adventures in Illinois." That's cool. One of my friends from college grew up in Lisle. Yeah, actually, he's the one that I ran with for the Outer Belt Ultras. Yeah, he moved. He's up. I don't know if he's in McHenry County now, or if it's still DuPage. I'm not sure. But he doesn't live in Lisle anymore, but because that's where his parents live. But he lives up in the northwest suburbs. But yeah, Lisle's a nice place. I think it's a really nice place to raise a family. All right, let me scroll down. I've been talking like way too much. Pano says, "I like my flip belt, but it's too much fabric for the summer. Stop using it in March." You know what I wish they would make? I wish they would make like a. I guess they would be. I'm describing a Naked belt. I wish they would make a flip belt, but mesh. And that's why I feel like that's that. I don't know that would solve all the problems, but I feel like that could help. That material is really, really hot, I will say. Wilfredo says Lululemon has a nice running belt. Do they really? Is it a running belt or is it one of those crossbody things that you wear in the front? Like, I'm teasing on Lululemon. But yeah. I was just thinking about Lululemon the other day because I was listening to I told you about it yesterday. I was listening to I'll Have Another with Lindsay Hine interviewing Scott Fauble, and they talked about him buying a tie-dye singlet from Lululemon before the Boston Marathon. I think that's hilarious. Natalia Giacalowska says, "Mesh flip belt, new co-merch." Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I don't think that's like no one has that, right? I'm trying to think. Has Ginger Runner ever done that? Has Ben Parks ever done that? Put their name on a running belt? That'd be amazing. Frank says, "As hot as a flip belt might be, it's always going to be cooler than a pack, though." Yeah, I think ultimately you're right. That's why I like it. I just wish that there was a better way to get the liquids in and out. Now I know that there's some of those other belts with that have like the little, they look like little grenades of liquid that you can kind of like clip into the belt. I've tried running in those because my wife bought one, and I just tried wearing it, and like no matter how I put it, it seemed like the bottles were poking into me, and I'm like, there's no way this is gonna stay in when I try running. So I just like I've never liked that kind. So the flip belt has always been like my best option. And it says that his flip belt has the added advantage of stopping the Cannon Cross harness from slipping down. Oh, there you go, double function. I like it for holding my phone. It holds the phone real well. The zipper pocket's real nice for stuff that you don't think you're going to need that much if you want to sequester stuff like a key card or keys. The phone goes in there really nice. Even if you have a really big phone, it goes in there nice. It's just getting the flip out bottle is hard. Jackie wants to know, Mike, what's the best Saucony equivalent to the 1080s? Triumph 19. That's what I would go for. CV76 says, Ben Parks markets his hat as the best running hats in the world. Well, they're really good. And if you're a Ben Parks fan, then they are the best hats in the world. I like his. I run in his a lot. I have the black on black one. And when you order stuff from Ben Parks, I think it's his mom that does all the fulfillment. But like he writes cards, and then his mom puts the card inside the box, and he has a special box that he mails it to you in. So it's pretty amazing. It's like a nice setup over there. I'm like, one day I want to be like, Ben, here's what we're going to do. I will send you like 100 of those non-elite hats. Can you do the distribution? Can you be my UK distributor? Do you think you would do that? I could use a UK distributor. I don't know how the importing and all that stuff works. I need a Art Vandalay. I need an import-export guy. Or just imports. Or just export. I can't remember. I need someone that has that kind of knowledge. A unique set of skills to help me figure some of that out. Dad Morale says, the handheld bottle only works for me for road running. You know, like, I think that I would be a handheld guy. Except for the fact that I run with a selfie stick. Like, if I didn't have that, then I think that I would. I keep thinking about how I think both Megan Murray runs this way too, and also Mario Fraioli. Mario recommends for people running the Boston Marathon to have your hand held and fill it with the Martin drink. And he just sips on that until it's empty, and then he pitches the handheld. I know that's not the best, like, economically and environmentally, but that's just how he does it. And I'm like, that's pretty great way to do it. That way you're just sipping on a drink the whole time, not worrying about some of the aid stations at the beginning when things are super congested. Wait till things kind of like space out. I kind of really like that idea. Also, I feel like running and just sipping on a handheld seems very relaxed to me, and I feel like that's an important thing to be in the beginning of a marathon. So, yeah. Jeff says everything in life can be a reference back to a Seinfeld episode. I feel that way about The Simpsons, but then like after like season 14 or so, kind of lost interest in The Simpsons. I felt like they made Homer less relatable and even more of a buffoon, and it made for interesting slapstick. But like he was becoming absurd, in a slapstick kind of way, and so I felt like it lost me there. But yeah, I feel like there for me there used to always be a Simpsons quote that I could apply. Terry says, Ben is as nice in person as he appears on YouTube. Please do the hat thing. Import tax to the UK doubles the price of your hat. Yeah, I mean he is super nice. It was great to meet him in person. I mean, yeah, there's no like YouTube persona. Both him and Sarah, they're just very straight up. They're straight up. What you see is what you get. It was awesome to meet them. Super Ninja says, does Mario take like an Evian bottle, or is it really one of those dedicated running bottles that he chucks away in the race? I think he has like I mean, he made it sound like it's the one that has like the neoprene and it like covers your hand, like that. So I feel like that's what he had. But it could be just like taking like an empty water bottle, filling it. But who was it? I think it was Dr. Josh that had the problem of he went to a race and they wouldn't let him bring in a pre-filled water bottle somewhere. Was it Chicago Marathon? I mean, it sounds so wrong. But like Dr. Josh was going to run that way for a race and they didn't let him. So he chugged it before like he went through the security line. I'm trying to remember. What that is. CV76 says, Ben started out as an amateur golfer. I mean, I knew he used to be really into golf. He's mentioned that on his channels before. Which I think I was thinking about that recently because as I was doing some research and trying to think about like how I can present, well, here's how it went down. I was thinking about the 100 subscriber mark and like kind of like where do things go from there? How do the videos change, if at all? What's new? What can I do differently? What do I keep doing? You know, I was just doing a lot of thinking. And I was trying to think like, there's got to be other sports that are like this. What are other sports where not even amateurs, but like just regular dudes, regular participants. I don't want to say just men's. I don't want to make it just dudes, but like regular people are becoming like YouTube personalities and shining a light on the sport. And what kinds of things are they doing? You know, I know running's a bit of a unique sport because like, you know, you get to participate in races, whereas like basketball, it's not like basketball YouTubers get to also like play on the Madison Square Garden floor, you know? I mean, maybe once they get really big, they can, but like, you know, that's not something that people can sign up to do. And so like, I've been watching I don't really like golf at all, but I've been watching a lot of golf YouTube just to be like, what are the people that are at about 100,000? What are they doing? What kinds of videos are they making? You know, because I feel like golf is somewhat similar in some respects to running, because like golfers can go and play some of these championship courses, not all of them, but some of them. And so like, and golf is one of those things where it takes a lot of practice, can take up a lot of time. And there's lots to learn, more of a skill sport than running is in terms of like techniques and practices and stuff like that. But so that's one thing. And then like every time I watch a golf video, I'm like, in like an alternate universe, Ben Parks is a golf YouTuber. I think about that all the time. Not all the time, but lately I've been thinking about it a lot. Carrie Smith says, I love my non-elite hat. It's my go-to hat right now for my runs. I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit biased, but it is for me too. And thanks for getting one, Carrie. I appreciate that. I had it out there on the run today. It was rainy and super windy for my run today. You know, it worked out great. It was a fantastic hat. I love it. I'm like very proud of it. I did very little. You know, I didn't do any, you know, I just like approved designs and stuff. That's basically it. And I also was like, the Big Bend is my favorite hat. Can we do it with that? That was about it. So Pat did all the heavy lifting. They're still doing all the heavy lifting, but I just am super excited about it. Stevie76 says, golfer Rick Shields in the UK is huge on YouTube. I'm trying to think about, I don't know the names of anyone that I follow, but there's a couple of people, and it's funny, like, because like a lot of the types of videos that they're making are very similar to the types of videos that running YouTubers are making. It's just like, you would think that the sports are very different, but at least as it translates to YouTube, there's a lot that overlaps there. Steve from Des Moines. What's going on, Steve? I love this dog. This dog wearing a hat and a t-shirt, it looks like. Is it? The dog's also wearing a t-shirt, right? I feel like this is a bigger picture. We're only seeing a part of it for this little YouTube avatar, but there's got to be more to this picture, right? It looks awesome. He says skateboarding has some quote unquote influencers who sort of break into the world of professionals. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me, because like skateboarding and video, like kind of like are hand in hand, right? I mean, like skateboarding and media, like skateboarding couldn't exist without like it's ingrained into the culture, right? It's a part of it. And so like that really wasn't the case for say like basketball or tennis or baseball. It didn't have the same like obsession with photographing and videotaping itself like skateboarding does, and like my running does. But yeah, so I just feel like that makes complete sense to me. That makes definite sense. Oh, Steve says it's a face swap pic. Oh, is that what you did? That's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. I was thinking that you dressed up your dog in a shirt and hat. I mean, I think Steve. I think you should try it. See if it works out. Dad Morel says, I just ordered the Apex shorts, the new micro dot singlet hat, and another shirt from Path Projects. They are my new go-to. Awesome. That's cool. I am very excited for like a summer weekend. I mean, it doesn't feel like a summer weekend now, but for this summer weekend to have another hot weekend, because it'll get hot later, with the new Path Project shorts. I forget what they're called, but they're like a casual short, but they're made out of like a very athleisure type of material. Reminds me of like a golf short, or like a board short almost, but like lots of pockets, stretchy, water resistant, summery. I'm super excited. I actually really enjoy them. That video will probably be coming out probably next week, maybe end of next week. So, and Khalif Ryan says, yeah, I get a lot of comments on the non-elite hat where people ask me, what is non-elite? Then I explain the channel and Path Projects. Awesome. Well, thanks for being, spreading the word out there, Khalif. And thanks for getting a hat. I love it. And Vincent Vinier says, people laugh and smile when I wear my non-elite shirt. Do they? Oh, that's funny. I remember the one time where I got the most looks for wearing the non-elite shirt is where I felt like it needed to be seen the most. And that was the one year that I ran the Big 10K. And that's an event, I think that's coming up soon here. So the Big 10 is an NCAA athletic conference that covers this area. And a lot of people that moved to Chicago most likely moved from a Big 10 school. So, well, Northwestern is one of them, but like Michigan, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin. There's like, I think there's more than 10 now, even though it's called the Big 10. A bunch of schools, but like a lot of the big schools that send, where graduates tend to like move, Chicago is a big popular place for that conference. So it's a school where so there's a lot of transplants here. So people like to represent their school in a way at this race. And it's a big enough race that a lot of schools and club teams will send teams to run this Big 10K. So there's a lot of really good like collegiate level competition at this road race. And so the one year that I ran it, I was going for a longer warm up. And it seemed like where the route that I chose was the same route that all the like teams chose. And so like I keep running by these groups of like very fast looking people, men and women. And it's always like a group of like, 6 to 8 people at a time, all in like matching kit. And I was wearing like the old school non-elite shirt, the orange one with the big white text. And it just says non-elite on it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not like any of you guys. That's exactly why I made the shirt. That's exactly what the shirt is all about. Not that I don't like you guys, but like you guys are awesome. That's your own thing over there. I'm just like a regular person over here. I'm just trying to get my warm up in. And you guys go stand up in the front. That's cool. I'll be way back there. See you later. So yeah, that I got a lot of weird looks on the shirt that day. Super Ninja says, don't forget Minnesota. Where'd it go? Yeah. To this day, do you guys remember the show Coach? That was a good show. I really liked that show. Dabra was my favorite. Every time someone mentions University of Minnesota, I still think of that show Coach. Wilfredo says, I'm biased, but the best 10K you can do is a Crescent City Classic. Like it is definitely on my radar. It's a race that I think I'd like to do. One reason for that is that Zane Robertson really likes that race. And I'm like, why does a guy who trains in Kenya like the Crescent City Classic? So I'm like, I wonder, does he like it because he likes New Orleans? Does he go out afterwards? Is that what it is? I don't know. It's just a race that he seems to really like. So Vincent Vineyard says Dauber is Patrick from SpongeBob. Is he really? No way. How did I not know that? That can't be right. Is it? Mm. Yeah, Super Ninja says, I still refer to Craig T. Nelson as Coach. Did you know that Coach is Mr. Incredible? I think of that all the time. That's all I hear when I hear Mr. Incredible. I hear Coach. JC says that Minnesota once went. Did Minnesota go to the Pineapple Bowl or did SpongeBob go to the Pineapple Bowl? I think it could go either way. Seatown Van says, I run the Burke and we'll see the University of Washington runners glide by. Yeah, one day I was out on the lakefront and some of the Loyola track, I don't know if it was the track team or the cross country team came by. And I was doing a workout. I think I was running marathon pace. And I'm pretty sure that these guys were just jogging because they were just chit-chatting. And they just effortlessly got right by me. And I was like, man, those guys are fast. I can't keep up. That's good. Thomas One says, yeah, it's a great after party for the Crescent City Classic. Oh, maybe we'll have to check that one out. I wonder who's the sponsor of that one. JC says it was Minnesota State in the show. It was? My memory serves me incorrectly. Oh. CV76 says Kofusi should sponsor the American Standard Bowl and has the toilet emoji. Is there a such thing? There's a toilet bowl? No way. You're making that up. There's no way that there's an American Standard Bowl. Like, why would a toilet maker need to sponsor a football game? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. All right. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to check that out. I wouldn't get sponsored. It would be like, because the sponsor is already American Standard. But like if there's a parade, I want to be on that float. All right. Oh God. That's so funny. All right. I got to get going, guys. I had such a good time. I was going to cut this live stream short today, but I was having just a fun time with you guys. No live stream Monday because we've got a holiday here in the U.S., Memorial Day. So we won't have a live stream Monday, but we will have a live stream on Tuesday. So everyone have a really great weekend. Hopefully it's nice and summery. You can enjoy the taste of summer for the weekend. And, of course, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.